back to our YouTube channel,
Fulfill the Game of Life.
This is the second video of probably about
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But in this video, we have started the second day of traveling, and we are heading to Fez.
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 Fez was... I'm not sure why that was funny, but anyway, I tell you what, and I'm going to try my hardest not to really babble, but Fez was, I don't know if it's possible or not, honestly. Fez was, for me personally, probably the single most memorable one day of my entire life. What I experienced in Fez is almost, I don't know, it was almost overwhelming. Fez took that to a level I am certain I have never experienced in my entire life. Fez was remarkable. I don't know how to say it any more strongly.
And I think it started from the moment that we got to our Riad, which started with just walking through the streets. And you wouldn't think that when you walk into a Riad that there was anything to it, but the streets are very simple.
Yeah, so let me give you a little more surrounding. The old town is called the Medina.
Yes.
Which is apparently a common word for every city has a Medina, which is the oldest part of town. And if I don't get the dates wrong, the Medina in Fez started somewhere around 900 AD. So it's been there for almost 1,000 years.
And also Medina is a fortified city as well, not just the old part of the city,
but fortified city.
Yes.
Thank you. So as you're walking through, as we get out of the SUV and we're arriving, and you're beginning to walk down to your hotel, you're walking down narrow alleys, and you're walking and you're just looking up and you see very tall,
very tall,
very plain walls.
Yep.
Okay, where are we gonna stay here? What is this going to look like, right? And you just, who knows, right?
Your mind is left wondering, like you said, like
what is this?
Accommodations are okay.
Yeah, hope they don't look like these walls look like they're going to look like.
Yeah.
And the host opened the door.
And it was probably one of the most amazing things we had seen so far on the trip.
Oh, no doubt, on the trip. But even more so of all the things and all the places you've stayed in your life. Of course, you know, you stay in the American big glass hotels and multiple floors and those things. But this place just absolutely blew us away. Because when the door opened, it was instantly recognizable the level of craftsmanship inside this small hotel was literally second to nothing I had ever seen in my life. Everything, it literally blew me away.
Everything in that Riad was handmade by a craftsman. Actually, the owner of the Riad
had some woodworking
that
owned
he
part
did
of
himself.
it.
Yeah, he and his shop did himself. It was a beautiful garden on the inside.
But let me just tell you, and if I can slowly pan you around and point these things out, but you can see this brass work lamps hanging from the wall. You can see all of this plaster work that's around. Then you can see all of the tile work, and it's just overwhelming to stop and look at. And then you see the wood on the back, and you see the door, and then you see the stained glass, and you're just in wow. I mean,
we were in wow mode probably the entire time that we were there, just getting settled into the Riad. And then we walk into our
wow, look at that. Look up there.
Oh. Yeah, ceiling.
Look at that.
Each room, they have ceiling different than other.
This is beautiful. This is great. We're more than happy to stay here. This is awesome.
To stay in there.
Oh, it's crazy. It was absolutely crazy. The ceilings in the rooms.
Yeah.
They're truly extra level of craftsmanship. Handcrafted, all unique to the different rooms. The owner showed us around to some of these rooms, and the craftsmanship is truly second to none that I have ever experienced. Is that
Bone.
That's bone.
Wood.
Wow.
That's awesome, man. That's quite the experience. That's awesome. And as we visited Fez, what's most remarkable about it is there wasn't a single machine used in these things. These are all handcrafted, and it blew me away.
And I will show you. We have here.
Oh, geez.
We have here this piece. Is this part?
Oh, I see the curve too.
Yeah.
I see the curve.
This is tie bond. I will show you the finish of this piece. Yes. Tie bonds.
Wow. That's what he was working. He was working on the tabletop, wasn't
Yes.
he? This is all plaster, huh?
Wow.
Open it.
Oh, nice.
You will have nice view. So all Medina from inside. From inside the room. Yes.
And it set the stage for what we were going to expect, I guess.
I don't know that we knew
What we were going to
what we
see.
were going to see, but so we settled in and we decided to go and have some dinner. And in the restaurant that we happened to have dinner, they had henna tattoos. I had asked the waitress, about the tattoo on her hand. And
Hello.
Hi.
so I wanted to ask you, what is that on your hand?
It's tattoo.
Is it permanent or temporary?
It's here. I do it here.
Oh, you do it?
Yeah, here.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we have it. Our culture. Yeah, our accent. Yeah, it's henna traditional Moroccan. If you want to do it, it's a temporary. Yeah, if you want to do it, it's amazing. Yeah, she can do what you want in your hand, like this.
I'm excited.
Hello? Thank you so much. It's beautiful. So Christy started fitting into the culture.
I was
The people were so sweet.
exactly. They were very sweet.
Multiple times during the trip, because of Christy's just natural looks, that she was mistaken for Moroccan all the way until we got out of the country, where the guy on the outside said, "Are you Moroccan?"
No, I promise. So
I thought they thought I was stealing a Moroccan woman, I think.
Berber Moroccan. to
Berber
be
Moroccan.
exact.
But
But it was funny. I joked with my dad. I said all I had to do was speak really bad Spanish, and I knew.
they said, "Nope, she's not from here."
No. Send her back.
All right, so before we kicked off the tour the next morning, we decided let's go ahead and buy a little bit of the traditional dress.
We did, and so we went shopping right after I think it was right after dinner.
Yeah,
we went shopping.
We thought we walked down this kind of unique marketplace. We thought we were kind of close. Hey, look, we found the marketplace. We just happened to be staying close. We had no idea. Had no idea how big a marketplace this entire city turned out to be.
Yes.
But Christy got up that morning, put on her
Traditional Moroccan dress, which I absolutely loved, and I will still continue to wear, even though we're not in Morocco anymore.
and which started them mistaking her for Moroccan. And we started the next day of what was, we didn't know at the time, at least for me, the most overwhelming day of my entire existence. And I hope that this video gives you some idea of what this really felt like, because this was just an experience I have never seen. I would have never guessed that I was going to see. And I think anyone should do it one time in their life. It was remarkable. Hello, good morning.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. My name is Richard.
Nice to meet you.
Amel, who is fantastic and a super fast walker.
Was she ever?
After 9 hours, it's something
it was
else.
a legitimate 9 hours.
So what's today going to be like?
Big day.
I think by the end of the day, she was as tired as we were.
But she is definitely in better shape than we were. I'm telling you, nine hours worth of walking, and she was always ahead of us waiting on us. But we were also taking photos and stuff too. That's our excuse for being slow walkers,
Exactly.
right? But anyway, let's get going with the day, because this one video in itself, I could show you enough footage to take up an hour, I swear. I didn't know you were with us today. You doing all right?
How are you doing?
Good, good.
please.
So let's get rolling with, we started the morning and we stopped by,
At the Royal Palace, which
and we'll let Amel do the talk.
we will.
The residence of the Meridian King. Meridian King before. And now it's the residence of our King Mohammed VI. If you can see, there is 7 doors, different doors.
Uh-huh.
Why? Because each door is belonging to one day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Soon after that, we were at a castle.
Overseeing the Medina, and again, here's the mill.
Look at the view from here. Beautiful view.
That's beautiful, yes.
This is where we're going to sightseeing. Did you see the walls?
Oh, yes.
Just so the Medina is inside the walls.
So as we finished up, we ended up going to a co-op, which they fabricated the ceramics, plates, bowls, you name it.
Okay, this was our first, other than staying at the Riad we were in and seeing the craftsmanship, this was the first place that we actually saw the craftsmanship
Yes.
in process. We saw people hand painting everything, hand painted.
And the paints were naturally derived by herbs and
Such as
flowers.
cobalt in the blue, and
Yes.
so everything was still as if it was 900 years ago, I believe, if
It was
not
amazing.
much further back than that. They were cutting the tile by hand, and they made these. They made plates, they made bowls, those things, but they made these truly pieces of art hanging on the wall. These massive plates, extreme detail, some with metal, some with bone. We became really aware that a lot of the artwork that we saw that day was
They made-
bone.
Yeah, yeah.
And they said sometimes it's camel bone and it's cow bone and it's different, but it's still part of their artistic process in which they still use these things. And I tell you, if you can look at this footage and picture not a single machine was used in these processes, these are handmade and they are phenomenal. It was just a taste,
Yeah, it
Right.
was amazing.
truly just a taste.
Yeah. They also made water features, remember?
Oh,
The
yes.
Water features, those were exquisite.
It was beautiful. It really was remarkable, frankly remarkable. Now, kind of closing out this section, I literally could show you a video that's at least 15 to 20 minutes long of just the ceramic workmanship. There's that much footage because it was that remarkable, but I know you're not here to see that much detail. So we're gonna hop back in and we make our first approach to the Medina.
So, again, talking about the really tall walls and how good of an insulator that is from the heat, because it was really hot that day.
Yeah, that was actually surprising. And then you kind of see, historical man solving problems in a way that you really hadn't considered it. The walls were so tall, the streets were so narrow that the sun basically couldn't get there. Only at a few moments a day, right? There was shadows cast everywhere. Number one, and then the walls were so tall that you basically got the earth cooling that you would as if you were almost in a cave. The outside, thank goodness they took us to the outside stuff early,
Yeah.
because the weather that day was 105, something like that.
It was pretty warm.
And all day long, walking down there, probably 80 degrees.
Yeah.
80 degrees. Nice, comfortable walk all day long. Unbelievable natural cooling by the way it had been constructed. Made it more fascinating from a historical perspective. You could see people wanting to get out of the heat and progressing to
The inside.
yeah,
of the
wanting
Medina.
to get there.
Because in some areas, it really did feel like there was an air conditioner on because of the breeze that went through the narrow streets,
Yes.
the narrow alleys.
You know, you think about it 1,000 years ago, and these were jobs that people get to work in almost an air-conditioned situation. So they would probably be even more excited to get a job, right downtown in the Medina. Just fascinating piece of it. We're going to compartmentalize some of the conversations by the different crafts that we saw. So let's start first with the food because it was frankly the most shocking. It's not shocking for the people that live there, but it's shocking for Americans.
Well, because I mean, we can tell you what it was.
And we're going to tell you,
Yeah.
and you can picture a little bit of it, right?
Yeah.
So, some of the first things, I had never seen anything like this. We saw the same thing in Marrakesh. When they say fresh chicken,
They mean fresh. They mean there is a few layers of live chicken. You get to choose which one you want, and they prepare
literally
it.
prepare it right there. They pull
For
a
you.
live chicken in front of you, prepare it right in front of you. We didn't watch that part of it, but it was there. And, you know, that's a different way of life. The chicken's literally living in the butcher.
Yeah, and
remarkable.
the other interesting thing, in every country or region, you're going to have interesting foods. Like in Florida, you can have alligator. In the West, like in Arizona where I'm from, they fry up rattlesnake. Tastes like chicken. It's not bad.
Exactly.
And in Fez, they had a butcher selling camel meat.
They even advertised camel burgers in the marketplace. Not only did you see a sign that says camel burger, you literally saw camel heads, the entire head hanging there, right? That was different.
It was
That
different.
is something we had never seen, and you know, it has an impact on you. It really does. It's not like walking into a grocery store and seeing it. So, one of those things that stimulated senses that you're not accustomed to. It was remarkable. The same thing, though. Actually, we saw a full entire cow head being prepared in front of us. We saw kind of the entire cow tongue. That was hanging out. We've never seen that stuff before. And it's a different way of life. Again, you go back 900 years, it's completely fresh. There is no slaughter it, put it in the refrigerator, transfer it from grocery store to grocery store. I mean, it's there and they're preparing it the same day. We had fresh cheese.
We did. That was delicious.
Just for clarification, we'll probably have to say this a couple of times. Technically, we're told there are no camels in Morocco. Camels have 2 humps.
Right. And the ones that we encountered were the dromedaries.
Which has 1 hump. So although the word camel is used even by our tour guide, he says, just so you understand, technically these aren't camels. But anyway, the chickens, the camels, the preparation of the food in front of you was something truly never experienced in my lifetime to see it. It was remarkable.
Definitely.
Another section of the food that was actually super entertaining to watch was there was a whole section of sweets, sugar-based candies, right?
Yeah, they're nougat.
And when you first walk into that area, you see a lot of flying insects. The first instinct when you see all the insects is, look at all these flies.
Insects that look like bees.
When you stepped up close and you actually looked at them, we didn't see flies, we saw bees. Everywhere, bees everywhere. One of the vendors actually kind of gave them a treat to keep them calm and put sugar right there on the side. You could see the bees just kind of swarm to it and eat it. And again, what a beautiful thing to watch, right? You've never really seen that. I've never seen that in America. And instead of trying to get rid of the bees, they just lived with them.
Yeah, they did.
Right? It was a beautiful thing. It was really surprising.
They coexisted very peacefully.
Yeah.
And it was really sweet.
It was. So after the food, where do you go? Well, you go to the remarkable hand craftsmanship done right before your eyes as if it was 1,000 years ago. And the output of these things, the quality of them, the detail of them, they just blew me away. You simply don't see it. I've not seen it around the world, even in expensive hotels. You don't see this level of craftsmanship. You might see some stonework, fantastic stonework in these big American hotels, but you don't see this detail. This stuff is remarkable. So let's start off, I guess, with probably the most remarkable for me, the number of lamps.
It's just amazing at the level of detail that they have to go through and the work work that they put into each of these lamps.
Still done by hand in front of you. There's an entire area inside the Medina that is just metalwork. And you get to walk there, you can still hear the hammers clanking,
Hammers,
almost
and
like you're watching a movie, right?
There was, you know, a welder in there that I saw.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it was so interesting.
Well, and then there were, so we're going to show you footage of probably 1 or 2 or 3 different shops that had these lamps, these metalworking lamps, but I'm not exaggerating when I say by the end of the day, we saw no less than 12 to 15 to maybe 20 of these shops selling these lamps. It was remarkable. So when you think, hey, you know, we're kind of in a little area that makes this stuff, the more you walked, the more you saw, it was remarkable. The craftsmanship was unbelievable. I wish that I had an entire house covered with some of these lamps. One thing that's curious, actually, that's interesting, is listening to our tour guide describe it, also Kareem described it. The craftsmanship follows by family generation. It's not like one person starts off a completely new career at a different avenue in their life. Their father, their grandfather, and their great-grandfather just continued by the generations as it went up, which helps maintain the craftsmanship, right? It makes it easier to teach and not one person going in and going out, but it's a bit of their culture as well, and I'm still blown away by it.
So this time we went into a shop that displayed the most phenomenal pieces of woodwork. There were, you could see the bones that were inlaid into each of these pieces and some of the mother of pearl, and each piece was just fascinating. There was a table in there that looked three-dimensional. That was just amazing. I wish we could have brought it back with us. It was,
Oh my goodness.
it was
Now,
so unique.
these things weren't inexpensive, I will tell you that, but when you see the level of detail,
You
and
understand
you
why
understand
they're
it.
so expensive.
it was the woodwork, the mother of pearl inlay, the one table that was kind of inverted 3D and kind of carved into it really caught my eye. Some of these things, they're visually overwhelming, very much like our hotel when we walked in for the first time, right?
Yeah.
And actually, that's one of the things that was so unique about the Medina, is you're walking down these narrow streets and there appears to be nothing, right? There's people, there's the shop area, and then you'll be somewhere where it looks like there's almost nothing, right? And then they turn you into some door,
Yes.
and you walk into these places and they're like, really, it's like, it was literally like living the hotel emotion over and over all day long. You walk into these grand rooms with this beautiful work and beautiful workmanship. It's a bit overwhelming. It really was.
It was.
It's just unique, huh? Never seen anything like it. So the next thing was they took us around kind of this entire kind of textile craftsmanship, where they would make the yarn, they would dye the yarn kind of right in front of you. Just watch the dyeing process, and of course they would use that making handmade rugs.
Yes. So we went into a co-op that sold the finished products, and there was just piles and piles of really beautiful handmade rugs. And then we went into a store that we happened to see along our walk, which was, they made the traditional carriages for weddings, and those were incredibly ornate. And you saw, you know, a woman there just doing her hand crafting of these incredible carriages. It looked like they were made for royalty.
It was amazing, you know, and there were so many of them too. You know, our tour guide, she's walking fast, and I'm like walking slow and looking to the left and looking to the right. And, you know, they weren't going to stop us by there. We would have completely walked by it and never seen it. But you look in there and you were like, wow, holy smokes.
We did lose her a couple of times, just because every time you turned your head left or right, somebody was making something absolutely gorgeous, and you were just left in awe because they had probably passed down, like Richard said, from generation to generation. That level of talent to make something so beautiful and so unique. It was just fascinating walking through each and every street of the Medina. It was like Richard said, it was really overwhelming to your senses.
Yeah, one of the things that suffers on camera, in my opinion, and maybe I can edit some of this so it looks a little more grand, but all of the gold and all of the brass to your eyes is really vibrant when you're there. And it never shows up on camera the same way. So what you're going to see here is going to look a little bit dull, and the marriage carriage looks kind of dull, not to your eyes.
No.
Under the light, it's just this glistening gold thing. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful, and I'm sorry I'm not good enough as a photographer to give you exactly what that looked like, because it's just wow. And it's not like, wow, I walked into Neiman Marcus in the United States and saw a name brand that I'm willing to pay a ton of money for. It's, I walked in and I saw a level of craftsmanship on something I'd never seen in my life. And I know I'm babbling.
You are.
I promise not to do that. But I continued for the entire week to reflect on the day that we went down into the Medina and Fez.
Well, it was a lot, because
It was overwhelming.
It was. You saw them making the dresses. You saw them making the shoes. Which, if I had a big suitcase, you would have brought so
full.
many dresses and so many sandals.
That's funny. I would have had a whole thing of wood and Moroccan lamps, and I would have had all of that. I'd put it in a truck and just. It was awesome. It was absolutely phenomenal workmanship. I know I've only said that 15 times now, but it was phenomenal, so I don't know what to say. Find a way to get yourself there to see it with your own eyes. You won't believe it. You simply won't believe it. So maybe kind of closing out Fez was the Tannery.
That was interesting. We, before we went out, we were given a mint stalk, a big long stalk of mint to put under our nose, because it was an interesting smell.
Take your time, enjoy the smell. When you finish, I'm going to explain you the process, or maybe Moroccan English.
Yeah, Moroccan English probably works best.
Madam, let's try. We know what we do. We explain him burger, then he tries to translate for you.
He thinks you're Moroccan.
I'm not Moroccan.
Okay, that's right. Agloum Fez.
Agloum Fez.
It means welcome in Fez. Actually, that place here, it's one of the bigger, largest, famous, but the oldest tannery in all of the world. 11 centuries old. And exactly, it's 1,132 years old.
Wow.
These artisans here, they stay work with the same process actually, from generation to other, father to son. No chemicals, 100% natural. We use 4 kinds of skin: lamb skin, goat skin, camel skin, and cow skin. You can see them in there, sir. The one in the left hand, the lower one. It looks like a light green one.
Yeah.
Actually, from there we get that strong smell. It comes from the pigeon wrappings, pigeon poop. Because the pigeon wrappings has ammoniac acid to soften the skin. The last stage, it's the dyes or the colors. With the dyes we use here, it comes only from stones, or from plants, or from spaces.
The level of leather craftsmanship when we went out, of course, they all over the Medina, they sold real leather goods. And whole nother video one day for how much the leather goods in the United States frustrates me, because it's almost all fake leather. These real leather goods all over the place, and then the difference in the hides and the feel to the hand. The feel when you put your hands over them was phenomenal, unbelievably soft. It was a remarkable, again, the craftsmanship, the lessons they'd learned over 900 years.
The quality.
The quality was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. Now again, wasn't inexpensive. And maybe that's probably a closeout for what we did experience in Fez. The one thing to be aware of if you book a tour like this, learn to say no.
Yeah.
This is, you could tell the tour is crafted to take you places, to expose you to the best of the best workmanship, but also the most expensive stuff, most likely, that you're going to trip across in the Medina in general. It's a highly refined marketing technique. They take to each person, the walking, the selling, every one of them have a very clear marketing scheme that you're exposed to while you do it. Let us kind of close out Fez.
Yes.
I have no idea how long this video is, but however long it is, you can bet that I cut out about 45 more minutes worth of video footage to show what was, again, I thought about it over and over. I still think about it as the most overwhelming single day of my entire life. The amount of people, the confines that it was in, the age of the craftsmanship, and the way that the foods were cooked, and the kind of the original marketplace, and the work that we saw still going on,
Yeah.
was the most overwhelming in a very positive way. I don't have any negative memory, so understand when I say it's the most overwhelming day of my life still today, not in a negative way. I was exposed to so many new things that I had never seen, different ways of life that I had never guessed was still, really prevalent, right? And I just know
You wouldn't know unless
you did
travel.
it. Yep.
And go out and experience the world.
Yep.
But this was a legitimate 9-hour day, and by the time the end of the day came, we were done.
We were
ready.
done. I still have to close with this because one of my favorite quotes, and I won't get it exactly right now, I'll look it up and I'll put it on the screen. But it's essentially this. Part of becoming educated is when you become aware of how many things you simply don't know. As the old saying is, the more you learn, the less you know. Fez taught me an unbelievable amount of lessons about the way the world used to work and the way that it still works, and the things that I got to experience that one day have made me a much deeper person, and an experience that I would hope that if you have time one day in your life, that you find the time to walk down through these kilometers and kilometers of marketplace and see the people and see what they do and see how they do it. And for all the people that we met in Fez, we've tried to include you in the video. Thank you so much for your kindness.
Thank you again. And these tour companies, you can tell, they care about their communities, they care about their people. And so each stop that you make, they're trying to improve the lives of their community. And it was heartwarming, and you definitely appreciated the human aspect of being taken into their community, and they show you their life and their culture, and it was
phenomenal.
It was.
So we're going to close this video by saying this. Did we just say that a minute ago? We're going to close this video by saying something else. Well, we're going to close.
Keep talking.
I can't help it. It's that one day of my life, and I'll say this. If you don't feel any emotion of excitement right now, we failed communicating what we experienced while we were there. If there's just a hint of, oh my goodness, this is phenomenal, then we succeeded a little, because it's hard to communicate what was so overwhelming in my life on that day. So
And
hope you enjoyed it.
Morocco is now open.
That's right.
By sea, by air, and land borders.
So book a trip. We'll put the tour group that we went with.
Yes.
We would strongly recommend them. And if you get lucky, Karim will drive you around and make you smile and laugh and enjoy the time as well. So thank you so much for coming along. I hope this wasn't too long, and hope you find some time in your life to experience something like this.
Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell so you are notified of each new content that we put out there.
Thanks, guys. See you in the next video.